Well, I'm going to take you for a ride. I'm going back to Woodman's. I need some more hamburgers. But anyway, a lot of times my night drives seem to be some of the better videos. I get more views, so I'm going to turn this off and give you the road here in a minute here. Can't drive around with the light on in the car. I wonder how these people do it. They must have like a little light they hook up in the back seat or something, or man, I can hear my struts and shocks. They get old. Not really shocks anymore on car struts, but anyway, I'm going to turn you around. You should be able to see mostly. Who knows? One day we might run into something that's dang, I forgot to wash the windshield for you. It don't look too bad, though. I put up some pictures of when I used to, like, what I went through to get out of poverty, like real poverty, not just a little bit of poverty from, like, I was living in, when I first got back here, I was living from bedroom to bedroom, and oh man, it was a mess. So I had to start my own business. I couldn't really, there was nothing that was going to pay me. I mean, I was in a bad way. I was drinking and messed up, and so I ended up, the only way to do it was to clean mold and human poop. That's what I was willing to do, and that's a true story. I got some pictures there. I tried to take more pictures. I think I got more, but it's hard when you're in that situation. And at the time, I think I only had flip phones and weird cameras. I didn't have a nice iPhone or something. I have to go through these old phones and try to get on their the old Google account, see if you get the photos. I got you there on my, I might put some over here on this overlay. Otherwise, it's in the discussion when my posts. But yeah, I used to, I started my own business, and what I would do is people wouldn't clean up messes like that, so word of mouth. It really started with word of mouth. I'd take on jobs that nobody else wanted. When main lines would back up with actual raw sewage, or a lot of times like mold would grow, and that stuff is dangerous as hell. Nobody wants to deal with it, and I was willing to put on a mask and go up in people's ceilings and wherever. Like a lot of times it'd be through the bathroom vents or something. They'd vent it into a ceiling, or just, I don't know, mold can grow almost anywhere, black mold, and I'd go in there, and you could almost set your own price within reason. I mean, you could get $1,000 to do it depends. You could get a couple thousand bucks if you got a big job, and you had to, then I'd have to treat the mold. I'd have to, paint over, the dead mold and all that stuff. But anyway, I got pictures there. So yeah, I really went through it. There was nothing given to me at that time. I remember I couldn't even breathe sometimes after working, and I had PPE, but not the professional stuff. That stuff is thousands and thousands of dollars. I was a younger guy, and I thought I could get away with, not breathing too. I was an idiot. Let's be honest. I was an idiot, but I went through it, got myself out of poverty. I was willing to do anything. And you could see some of them houses I worked on. These people were I'm telling you, these people were some of the dirtiest, grossest human beings. There's only so much I can say about it, because I don't want to do any demographics or any type of whatever, but I've seen it. Some of the dirtiest people, some of the biggest, heaviest, a couple of them that had so much, that human feces in that one picture. The people were so big that they must have been, they couldn't even walk 400 or 500 pounds, and I had to clean the poop, all their poop, and they let their poop soak into their clothes. That was their pile of clothes there I showed. There was human shit soaking right into all their clothes, and it was just unbelievable, Like they couldn't even get off the couch. They were too lazy to even clean up their clothes to keep it away from where all the sewage was coming up. It was just crazy stuff. Anyway, that was just kind of a topic I figured I'd start with on the drive, I really love hamburgers, and they're all beef, and I mean, whatever, it's not healthy, but It's not that bad. I really love hamburgers. I don't know why, but I love them. I love them, and I looked in the freezer, and I got no more hamburgers, so I'm like, I'm going to run and get hamburgers. And my drives tend to get pretty good views. I mean, comparative to the amount of work, I don't have to. I just strap the camera in and tell stories. Another thing I was thinking about, because I posted some mug shots. I used to have like 20 of them, but they're taking them down now online. They passed some sort of laws or something that it's becoming, I don't know if the word's unconstitutional or I don't know, but they're starting to take them down. They don't want them to pop up on Google anymore. You can't really get them. You got to really dig. And I used to have 20 of them, and not that I'm proud of it, but it was like you could see where you went in life, like how you've changed all the way to now, you know, like how bad it got. And then there's a lot of them missing in there where I looked really, really bad. And it's nice to look back and see that I'm better now, you know, than some of them. But the only ones I got, it didn't look that bad, you know. A couple of them, I don't know what they were, barroom brawls and whatever else, but one of them there, I was really young. That was when I was 16. I wasn't even 17, 16 years old. In that first one, I think I was 16. 17 maybe, I don't know. But yeah, I was charged as an adult there. That was my first big time whatever. And that's what was the topic I was coming up with, was these people on YouTube that run these channels, like, I don't know all their names, 23andMe and all these different, or 23andOne or Lockdown or whatever, and they romanticize jail and prison. I just sit and laugh. Like, they're so full of shit. Like, I'm not saying they didn't serve time. I'm saying they're just lying. They make it sound romantic. And let me tell you what, I've been in there and nobody's ever been happy in there. There's only, like, when I think back to all the thousands of people and inmates that I've been housed with, there might only have been 2 of them that really didn't mind being in there. 2. Where it's like they thrived in there. Other than that, everybody went nuts in lockdown. People were screaming. All these people like this, these guys you watch, they were all just as bad as everybody else, screaming, couldn't take it no more, kicking the doors, crying, screaming. Everybody had enough. Like, it is nothing like you see. Don't let them romanticize it for you. You'll do anything to get out of there. If they would have told, you'll do anything. Most inmates, all they do all day is think about ways to escape. I mean, it's the most miserable experience you're ever going to have in your life. And I just get so sick of watching these people on TV or on YouTube, these frog guys and whoever else. They all romanticize this stuff, and they're so full of shit. It irritates me so bad. It's the most miserable place on earth, okay? You don't want to be locked up in a cell with an old man that snores the whole time, or it's like all you can think about is escape or suicide. There's nothing else. Nobody in there enjoys being in there. It's a misery. It's pure and utter misery. And the fact that they try to tell these stories and act all like they're big shots and all how they're the first ones that were screaming to get out. Trust me. I'm not saying I was any better. I'm just telling you, I met maybe 2 guys and they were out of their damn minds that thrived in there, and they were nothing like these guys you see on YouTube. And they were just at peace in jail. I don't know why. Because their lives were just a living hell outside of it. I knew one guy had like 6 kids, and he couldn't afford child support, and he was living on the street, and he really didn't mind having friends in jail, and everybody seemed to like him, and he thrived in there. His name was Mick. I won't say his last name. But he seemed to thrive in there. He got used to it. He's been going there since he was like, when I first went in, when we were 16 years old, and I've seen him in there over the years, and he thrived in there. He just thrived. He thrived. He'd come in off the street all drugged out, and he'd get in there and he'd start thriving again. He could just, for some reason, he could handle it. That was only one guy I've seen in 20 years, in 27 arrests, that thrived in jail. There was, I think there was one more. Other than that, sure, you'll have guys that think they're tough and this, that, and the other. Yeah, right. Go sit in the hole. I sat in the hole with all these guys. They were just as miserable as I was. All that stuff's fake that you see online. Don't buy into any of that nonsense. It's all fucking nonsense. These tough guys and all that are in just as bad of a way as anybody else when they're in there. Trust me. I've seen it. First hand. Not second hand. First hand, I've seen it. Nobody goes in there and says, oh, I can't wait to get to my new cell. I just don't know how else to describe it. Like, fucking people are mental. I just can't believe that shit's allowed on YouTube. All these lies and shit, they allow that on YouTube. But they've censored if you put a picture up that's of something that has a logo on it, but they let these guys go tell all these kids that it's fun and you can do this and that and look at all my commissary, and you see all these guys. Some guys got YouTubes in prison and they're acting. That's all a show, people. It's such a big show. So it takes like virtually, but going back to that subject before I leave here, I'm leaving Woodman's. It took virtually no advertisement whatsoever to pick up business. It started with like one job, and one landlord or one business owner will call another. And next thing you know, you got so many calls you can't even. When it comes to cleaning up human feces and mold, you can't beat these people off with a stick because, well, I'm going to turn the camera around. You couldn't beat the business off with a stick because nobody wants to do it, you know? Nobody wants to clean up, and nobody can get anybody to do it. Like, there's companies that'll clean up poop and mold and stuff. It's possible, but they want thousands and thousands of dollars. So you got to be willing to negotiate with people. But other than that, if you can talk and you're willing to do the job, if your times are tough, it's always something you can fall back on. I'd walk in and I knew a job would, if they wanted to get it done correctly and they were supposed to, I knew a job would cost somebody $5-10 grand, right? Minimum. And they'd try to tell me, you know, $500, $1,000, and I'd look at them and say, listen, there's no way that you weren't quoted $5,000-$10,000. Let's make a deal here, you know, $2,000 or I ain't touching it. And that's if I, you know, I got used to it after a while where I knew I could get something done. You know, I knew I could get something done in a certain amount of time. After a while, you know, it's trial and error. I've learned my lesson, you know, before, and I've had to go through various chemicals, you know, for cleanup that worked or didn't work. And I eventually had a lot of experience with black mold and human waste and plumbing. But there were some times I got myself into hairy situations I shouldn't have gotten into when I first started. But what I'm saying is if there's a will for you want to make it in this world, you can. There's always a way. It's just what are you willing to go through to do it, you know? And I'll tell you what, when you earn your money through poop and you go through that and you earn your money that way, you tend to learn how to save it too. I'll tell you, I saved every last dollar I could. That's how I got out of my situation. I invested or saved every dollar I could. Because every time you go somewhere, you knew what it took to get that money. It was a lot different than, say, working at McDonald's But even working at McDonald's was one of those jobs where you kind of, anyway, a different thing. Under this bridge, you'll see homeless people, and back there to the right and stuff. In summer, you see a lot of tents and homeless people sleeping now, which is crazy. You never even see nothing like that in Green Bay back when I was young. But yeah, I think I tapped out that topic. It's just a topic that probably a lot of people would be interested in if you think about it, you know. It's like, something so whacked out as, cleaning. I never did I thought about getting into body stuff, fluids, because you're just a step away at that point. You're already cleaning up human waste. You might as well, but that you need a whole bunch of different licenses and stuff, and it wasn't like, I'm sure I could have probably tried to get a job in it and get paid hourly or something, but to actually start a business like that, you need big time business licenses and stuff. But I've done it. So when I tell you guys, because, who the hell would believe somebody like, I could tell you anything and who's going to believe who, and everybody lies and blah, blah, blah. So there you go. You got some of my pictures over the years of being booked into jail, and you got my booking photos, and you got some pictures of me cleaning up raw human waste. And in the one photo there, I'm just repainting over all the mold. Somebody built the house and decided they were going to vent into the attic. That's the worst thing you could ever do, is vent the bathroom into the attic. People, don't do it. Don't even take a chance. You could probably run PVC through out to the roof, but don't. 90% of the calls I got were right into the attic with the moisture from the bathroom. That one picture was me. I had the whole ceiling ripped out. Into the attic I had to go. I had to get all the mold out, cut what you can out, and then try to clean. Then you use a chemical to kill the mold that's on the wood. Then you come back and you got to do another paint treatment over it, and that's a couple $1,000s for. And that's even, you can find a guy like me. I still get calls. I haven't done the business, you guys, in. It has to have been, I don't know how many years, 5. It's been enough years that I've told everybody I'm done with that, because I had some health scares and other things going on that I'm not going to get into, but I said that's enough of that. I don't need the money like that bad anymore. It ain't worth my health type of deal. I'm getting older now. And I still get calls. I shit you not, I'm still getting calls because people just can't get anybody to do the job for a reasonable price, because, man, it's a touchy situation. I got to be careful what I say too. It's like, you understand. I don't think you're stupid. That some jobs get into really, I've seen some stuff where it's like, I still get calls. Let's just put it that way. I ain't doing them jobs anymore. Unless if I ever had to, I could make 1 phone call, 2 phone calls to people that I've done. They're so happy with my work, that I could do that all day long if I wanted, but I don't want to. Plus I used to have a partner, and my partner retired in life and goes on cruise ships now, takes cruises and has had enough and doesn't. I couldn't believe it. The partner I had, anyway, that anybody would even do that at their age. It's crazy to me, but whatever. So yeah, that's the story of that. So I guess I talked about human poop and almost dang near the whole trip, but it was something that's a different topic, right, of discussion, something different that most people don't talk about. Then I do garage doors. Garage doors is a big time. That's another one you could get into. Oh my God, it's a hassle and I hated it, but it's money. You get put in garage doors, that's another good job. Nobody wants to do it. It's expensive for people. It's tough because you're always taking out old garage or trying to work around an old garage door. And oh man, you got to do the tensioner springs. It's another job nobody wants to deal with, is tensioning garage doors. I had to tension them, and you never know if you're going to die, really. You get to a point where you don't care, but you never know if one of these old springs will break that you're taking off or putting on. They got all these different brackets that are from the 60s, 50s even, 60s, 70s, 80s, I don't know if 50s, but 60s, 70s, 80s, old springs, rusted springs, and if you don't know, they're wound up cables, and they're lifting a sometimes 500-pound door, more. I've seen some doors out of solid wood at some rich houses that were from the 60s, 70s that had to have been 1,000 pounds, had to have been. And you gotta, tighten the springs up to pull those babies. So, you name it, I've done it. That's another good one I don't want to do anymore. Not because it's not as much hard as it's a hassle and arguing with people. They don't understand why it would cost $1,000 or $2,000 or more to fix a garage door opener or to replace it completely on these old garages. They just don't realize that the wheels are all jammed up or they need all new wheels. Like, it becomes a huge ordeal sometimes, and you get huge. People don't like to pay. That's the answer to everything here, is people don't like to pay, or I would have even had a job in the first place. People don't like to pay for shit. I got nothing but fights. That's why that's more important. Being a salesman is as important as anything else. You got to argue with these people just to get yourself fair pay. If you're not willing to argue with people in that, then you better stay away from private contracting, because that's 90% of the work. The work's hard, but 90% of it is these people don't want to pay you. You got to be willing to tell them, listen, I want to see $1,000 up front. I ain't playing these games with you, Anyway, we had a whole conversation about private contracting and everything else that goes along with it. And honestly, I thought that was a really good conversation today. So, hope you guys have a really nice night. I'm headed home. I think I'm going to cook a burger.